Hello and welcome back. If you're new, I'm Deirdre, and today I'm going to talk about my first 7 days of playing the Minimalists game. I'll tell you what that is in a minute, and a little bit about, of course, what's on everybody's minds, or many of our minds, which is COVID-19. So the Minimalist game is, many of you will know it, but if you don't, it's just simply a way to sort of structure some decluttering. And for me, sort of going into the cooler months, so in autumn here in Australia, it's a good time to have a wee bit of clear up, sort of like an opposite side of spring cleaning. And so when you play this game, and it is just a game, you can break the rules, so you can do anything you like, remember, because there are no minimalist police. And I'm not a minimalist. I will never be a minimalist, but it's a good little trick, this game, to get rid of some of the stuff in your life that you just really don't need. So on day one, you go from day 1 to day 30, and on day 1 you get rid of 1 thing, on day 2 2 things, on day 3 3 things. You're sensing a pattern here all the way through to 30, and if you do it, then you've managed to clear out sort of about just under 500 things out of your home. Now they can be tiny things. They can be stubs of pencils, they can be too many paper clips, you can, anything. I've got rid of some big things, of course, that have been waiting for me to do it. Well, I'll get that. And really it's a game. Game equals fun. This is not meant to make your heart bleed. This is meant to make you laugh a little bit. My God, why was I holding on to these things? You know what I mean. It's got to be a bit of fun. Sorry, am I really weirdly exposed at the moment? Probably a little bit overexposed. Weird light at the moment. Now, apologies for not being around. It's been busy. I had a birthday. Yes, everyone is a good one. And also, and that kept me busy, which is a really nice thing to be kept busy with. I'm currently cat minding while my kids are in the Philippines, having a wee bit of a holiday. Maybe not the best time, but that's their business. I'm minding the cat. He's sulking, won't come out and play, and won't come out and join me. He's lying underneath my bed. He comes out for food and for other requirements of life, and has a sniff around the windows and looks out to see what he can see, and then goes right back under. Part of which is because, and the other reason I haven't been filming, is we're having painting done around the whole apartment block here, and because of that, there are painters working outside. Lovely guys, doing a really good job, doing what they need to do. The only thing is that they can only converse at about 110 decibels. I don't know what it is, even when they're standing really close to each other, because painting isn't something you'd normally sort of associate with industrial deafness, but by God, these guys, they just yell at each other. It's perfectly politely, it's just conversation, but they just do it at a really high volume. So I'm sorry, I haven't been able to film. Okay, so I will take you through the 1 to 7 days of what I've got rid of so far in my Mins game, and I'm piling up other things as I go that I'll talk about in another video. But I thought I'd also talk a little bit about COVID-19. Now, you know me, so, well, for those of you who know me, you know that I don't judge anybody about, well, mass murderers, etc. aside. Everybody has the right to how they feel about these things, so you're not going to get judgment here. So I'll just say that straight off, that the reaction that we're having across the globe to this is a normal human reaction. Whatever your reaction is, it's normal, it's human. There's a lot written in psychology about this. I won't bore you with the details, just to say that if you feel the need to really prepare a lot and seems like you're going overboard, that's normal, that's human. If you are cross with people because you think it's just silly and there's nothing to worry about and everything will be fine, that's normal, that's human. Okay? We're all different, and some people will be necessary for them to what you may think of as over prepare and over anticipate. Other people may just not want to think about it, just don't bother me with it, I'm not going to go there. That's human, that's normal. As I say, you might be cross with people who are trying to tell you that it's serious and you need to do things. These are all really human, normal responses, and you don't need to feel that one is good, one is bad. There's no judgment in this. It's just normal. So let me say what I'm doing and where I stand in terms of my own health. Now, some of you may know I have an incurable leukemia for which I take chemotherapy medication every day. And what that does in terms of this COVID-19 is that it puts me in a group that probably if the health system here in Australia becomes overwhelmed, and if I contract it, and if I contract it in a way that puts me in the critical care need group, I will be the person that they say, I'm so sorry, here's some oxygen, but you won't be intubated, etc. It's what has happened in Italy, and we've seen it, and obviously in Iran and in China and in all of the places where we've experienced where we've got very clear data now, and unfortunately some very distressing hard evidence on what happens when a health system gets overwhelmed. And Lombardy in northern Italy had a superb health system, very good health system, very wealthy area. So we can't say, oh, if the health system was better like ours, it won't happen. No, the only thing that can stop that happening is if we can flatten the curve of exposure and contagion. And the best way to flatten the curve is to take normal, sensible precautions about spreading it. Now, we're not going to stop people from catching it, but if we can slow down the rate at which people catch it and need critical care, then our hospitals can cope with it. And this is what they've done in Singapore, I think pretty well in Hong Kong, reasonably well in South Korea, quite well in South Korea. Singapore is the gold standard for how this could be kept with a flat curve, so it goes up like this, it doesn't go chung, and when it goes chung, that's when the hospitals can't cope. For example, in Britain, they're saying that I think they have about 5,000 critical care, intensive care beds, and that they may need 150,000. Yeah, that's at the lower end of infection and in critical care cases that they're predicting. It's going to be like a bomb going off. So I'd just like to say to all of you, because many of you are in my demographic, so if you're basically 50 plus, we're in the group that is going to get hit, and obviously the older you are, the more vulnerable you are to this, and the more likely you are to need critical care. So please don't see it as an overreaction, just up the whole hygiene thing to start with. So what am I doing? Well, I'm being really careful about hand washing. I've always, well brought up, I know how to wash my hands, but now I'm doing several times a day, and I'm being careful to wash well and for that 20 seconds and sing happy birthday to myself, or that wonderful Dolly Parton, Jolene, that gives you 23 seconds apparently. I'm being careful about what I'm touching when I'm out. The old SARS, the SARS that we know about, this is also a SARS by the way, the COVID-19 is called SARS-CoV-2, that's its scientific name, so it's a respiratory disease and it's related to SARS-1. It can live on stainless steel for up to 9 days. Yeah, you heard me, 9 days. That's scientific, lab tested, peer reviewed data. If the data upsets you, it's not the fault of the data. Please just remember that this, you can argue with opinion, but you can't argue with data. So that's just a data. It lives for up to 9 days. Not always, not everywhere, but it can. That's on stainless steel. Plastic a bit less, and it sort of goes down from there. So be aware that the things that you touch could be contaminated. And it's not going to go away within hours from being contaminated. It may, but it may be there for up to 9 days if it's a stainless steel handrail. So don't touch them if you can possibly avoid it. Wash your hands when you come home. Pre-packaged food, things like that, I'm quite aware of. I'm thinking, okay, who packaged it? Where was it? Where was it packaged? What were their hygiene standards? Were they wearing masks that completely blocked, any sneezing, coughing, whatever? Because for most people, they will not even know they have had this illness. It will be a mild cold for, sort of cold type thing. A few sneezes, sniffles, maybe a headache, but they will not be overtly sick. And as a result, they will be spreading it to people who will get it in a much more serious way without meaning to. I'm not saying there's any ill intent here, none at all. It's just people won't even know that they've got it. It will be a mild illness, particularly for younger people. So I'm looking hard at things like packaged food. If I have anything delivered and you have to sign for it and you have to hold the little thing, and then and then you sign on it, and I hand it back and smile, and then go and wash my hands, do my 20 seconds of hands washing. What to wash your hands with? Hand sanitizer is good. That is the best thing to have in your handbag or your car or wherever you are in your office. Anywhere like that, use hand sanitizer if you can't use soap. But soap, good old-fashioned soap, a cake of soap, that is usually a fat-based product, and it actually attacks the fat bonds that are holding together the COVID virus. It's like a little spiky ball. Imagine a tiny spiky ball. I'm sure you've seen them on television. And part of that tiny spiky ball are these little they're called lipid bonds, and they are actually locking together the shell of the virus, and soap breaks that bond, breaks into the shell, and that gets rid of the virus. So inactivates it effectively. So old-fashioned soap is a really good option. Doesn't have to be scalding hot water, cold water and soap. That will do it. So it's the time, making sure you get into all the little crevices, wash your hands like a surgeon. You know, we all know the surgeons out there. These girls, they know what they're doing. Okay, so what else am I doing? Shoes off at the door, basic stuff, because you don't know what you've walked in or on. And I'm trying to stay away from crowds. So I read somewhere the other day, it was a comment, somebody said that our parents and grandparents had been asked to go to war. We are being asked to sit on the sofa and not go outside. You know, can we do this, please? It's a big, brave thing. Our call to greatness isn't to go off and fight a war. Our call to greatness is to sit on our tushes and watch a bit of Netflix, or read a book, or knit, or work from home. If you possibly can work from home, that's a really big thing. It's a matter of limiting the number of people that you bump into in the day, literally and metaphorically. And I think that, so if you can stay off public transport, except in absolute can't avoid it situations, if you do, perhaps wear gloves. Perhaps if you have to touch things, try to touch as little as possible. Wash your hands with sanitizer before you get on and when you come off, those sorts of things. I've actually just got my little hand steamer set up that you could just use your ordinary iron and just lightly steam any jacket or, you know, anything you've been wearing on public transport or in a crowded area. Though try to avoid crowded areas, because that's certainly the closer people are to each other, the faster the contagion goes. These sorts of things, just really old-fashioned stuff. Now, what about the toilet paper? Really, I mean, there are a lot of jokes about it, but it's like a contagious panic, and don't be cruel to people who have gone overboard. Please remember to share that other people are panicking as well. So if you get your hands on some, please don't fill up 8 trolleys with it at the supermarket. Take enough for you for 4 to 6 weeks, maybe. I mean, that's probably not a lot, is it? Have some perishable foods in if you can. You know, the classic, the rice, the pasta, the quinoa, the things that are easy, the bulky things. I usually keep my freezer fairly full because it's an economical way to run it. And so I have lots of frozen veggies, things like that, things that roast well, things that go into soups, because it's autumn here and soup time, and that always makes me happy. But easy things that you can make. You can freeze bread, you can buy the partially cooked bread that has quite a long shelf life, and if you can pick up, if you drink milk, whatever sort of milk or something like that you drink, yes, add a few extras, because there may be a week or two that you are not in a position to go out and go shopping, and you may have to, you know, eat from the pantry and eat from the freezer. There are delivery services in most places, so that you can go online and order from your local supermarket and they can deliver, even if they just drop it at your door or sort of on your pathway, and you can go out and get it from them there. You see what I mean? There are ways around some of the issues, but mostly it's about being super clean and setting up your home sort of as a little green zone. If you've got a dear friend who's sniffling and coughing and wants to come over for coffee, it's probably not a good idea. Just say perhaps, you know, you could have a good chat on the phone. Remember how we used to do that? Talk to people on the phone? Really good option. And, sorry, there's somebody talking right outside the window. But anyway, at that, let's go and I'll take you in to see what I've got rid of in this first week, which was actually last week, of the Min's Game, and there'll be more to come. 1 white jug, I just don't use anymore. 2 pairs of shoes, well, one's a sandal, but it's gone. 2 boxes and an old folder, out, gone. 3 sample pots of paint, old and sticky. and some tools that I just don't use. There's a drill and a saw. I have a couple of others, a little hacksaw which I just don't use, and then a hammer, and it's pink but it's too heavy, and then this measuring thing I just don't use. 6 old magazines, poof, gone. And here go the chairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and number 7 is an ottoman that I love but I don't use. The second week of that will be to come, so join me, have a bit of fun with that. So come along for the ride. If you'd like to, hit that little subscribe button, turn the little thumbs up thing blue. Blue's a good colour, and I hope that whatever you're doing, you're having a lovely time, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.